Hello and welcome to another live stream. Apologies, I'm just a little bit behind here. Just jumped out the shower, making sure everything's working okay. Yeah, I probably need to close down some windows here. Oh man, how is everyone doing? Anyway, thanks for joining me. I massively appreciate everyone coming on and coming on, listening to me talk about Amazon and business and occasionally some other stuff as well. So how is everyone doing anyway? Let me just catch up with everything. Apologies here, making sure everything looks good. Hey Helen, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. I had a funny chat with Helen the other day. Oh dear. That was funny. That was hilarious. Hey Zara, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. So yeah, for those that don't know, my name's Simon. I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller in the UK. I do these lives every Monday, Thursday, 8 p.m. just to helping you guys out with Amazon and asking any questions you've got, talking about some interesting topics. Today I want to talk about a topic actually, which actually a mentee mentioned to me today. I did a mentoring call earlier. Someone asked me a question and I was like, oh, that's a really good question. I'll talk about that in my live today. But yeah, so yeah, thanks to anyone who's sort of a regular viewer and anyone who's new. Thanks for coming on. I'm just going to put a quick, hey, how's it going? Excuse me, guys, sorry. Adrian is absolutely crushing it. Was struggling and now it's done. It was £113 profit in profit in 22 units sold, 500 sales, mate. It's amazing. Well done, crushing it. Honestly, keep going. Now it's just a matter of scale. Just times it by 1,000 and you're good to go. But no, you can see it, mate. You're getting going. It's awesome. It's good to see. I love that. So how is my Amazon doing then? I'm suffering now because I've not been sourcing as much as I'd like to source. So I'm now just trying to struggle a little bit, and I need to get back. And I did buy a few bits here and there, but my my inventory level is definitely dropping down. So this is what happens. You don't notice it right away, but you will suffer in the future when you don't have enough stock. Excuse me, go. Right, so Helen said, really good. Got Ungated for Lego. Woo, that was a good one. So within 5 minutes of sending everything into Amazon. Happy girl. That's awesome. That's a good brand to Ungate. How did you do that? Was that Lego.com? Sort of key rings and stuff like that? There was actually a guy in the Discord who said he ordered 15 key rings, five of one, 5 of another, and 5 of something else. Apparently he got Life Band from Lego. I don't know how or why. I've never heard of that before. But yeah, so... But yeah, Source Soup FBA Mogul fake promo code. Which one's that one for? What do you mean, mate? Anyway, while you elaborate on that, let's have a look at the how I'm doing for the day and the month. Let's have a quick update. So, right, let's have a look. So this is today. So not too bad, really. 185 profit. Yesterday was really bad, as you can tell. But yeah, so 29% ROI, not too bad really. I've sold through all my CeraVe now. I've got some inbound stuff, but all the stuff that's in stock is gone now. So I guess that's why ROI has started to climb again. But yeah, it's not too bad for the day. And then the month wise, I am on... I don't know if I'm going to hit 10K. I'm not sure what my trajectory looks like. It's going to be touch and go, I think, unfortunately. 7.6 for the month so far, 64,500 in sales, 25% ROI. So not too bad really, but yeah. So yeah, I'm still waiting for the Source Soup. Let me know what you mean by that. But yeah, awesome guys. So yeah, anyone who's got any questions, throw them out there. By the way, so it helps me keep the stream going. But one thing I wanted to talk about today was, and it was a mentor. So if you don't know, I do a mentoring program. A mentee asked me today. He said, "Do you look at buy box percentage?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is a really good question because one of my pet peeves is people who sprout buy box percentage a lot and are going, oh, you can't buy that buy box percentage, blah 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 blah." I'll be honest, guys. I never look at buy box percentage. Not really. I look at it a little bit more these days, but honestly, it's not something I've ever really looked into. Many of you might be shocked by that, but one thing I wanted to talk about was basically, so I'm getting distracted by that FBA fake promo code thing. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, basically people are misinterpreting the buy box percentages massively. and they're not utilizing it correctly. So firstly, what am I actually talking about when it comes to buy box percentage? So let me just switch over my view. And by the way, while I'm doing this, you can throw your questions out there about this and other things, and we can, it gives me some stuff to answer. Right, cool. Let me just switch over. I'm just going to pick a random Hugo Boss product here. This is a good example. Let me just zoom in here, get rid of seller ramp, and go to talking head. Cool, right. So yeah, so a mentee asked me, let me just make sure I'm also on sleep as well. Cool, right. Asked me, do you look at buy box percentage? And I was like, not really, no. And I was like, because I see a lot of people who are, what's the word? What's the word? So I think I've just seen I'm losing my train of thought here. They're basically misinterpreting the buy. I'll get to that code in a second. I think it's the Quigitta one. So I'll get to that in a second. Let me just answer this and talk about buy box, and we'll get to that definitely. So yeah, when it comes to actually the buy box percentages, people misinterpret it. So let's say you come onto a listing like this, okay? Now, Hugo Boss is hard gated. We can see this here because OA Hero, which you can get OAHero.com, says hard gated. But let's pretend it's not, okay? Now, people will come onto this and they'll go, and what is the buy box percentage? So it's basically the percentage of the buy box that Amazon keep and share and stuff. So the way you can find this is by going into Keeper, which is this kind of thing here. You're going into data, and then you're going to buy box statistics. Now, in this, you can see the buy box percentages, and you can see the 30, 90, 180, 365, and apparently the entire lifetime of it, basically. So people will look at this and go, actually, weirdly enough, this one isn't 100. But go, oh, I was hoping to find a 100 one. But anyway, let's pretend it's even at 80%, right? They'll go, okay, why is Amazon 80% of the buy box? Why? Actually, let me find another one, because this should be like 100%. Let's go to this one. Data, buy box statistics. Okay, 99%. So you'd look at this and go, Amazon don't share the buy box on this. And obviously with this one being hard gated, the answer is obvious because no one else can sell this item. Okay, so that seems fairly obvious. But this brings up another point of you need to understand it in the context of the actual listing, if that makes sense. So you can see it on SaaS as well. There is also, if you scroll down, there's the pie chart thing as well. Yeah, definitely. So you can definitely see it here as well. I just like to see the numbers, but yeah, you can definitely see it on here as well. The 3180 all. Now, obviously with this one, you can say, well, they don't share the buy box, and that's because Amazon's the only seller on it, and that's because there's no one else can sell it. But let's pretend this isn't hard gated. I have people come onto this and go, oh, well, Amazon don't share the buy box on this. I'm like, well, yeah, because there's no other sellers. So how can Amazon share the buy box? Like, genuinely, like, people look at this and go, Amazon don't share it, I'm not going to bother jumping on it. It's like, well, ignoring this is hard gated. Yeah, there's no other sellers. So how can they share the buy box? First thing, I always go into the assumption basically they will share. Doesn't always work that way, but most of the time it does. Now, I don't have another one here, but let's say, for example, another thing you need to look at as well is, let's pretend there are other sellers on this listing. The other thing that's also important to realize as well is, if there are other sellers competing with this, let's say, for example, on this listing, the price is £67. Let's pretend there's other sellers in here. There's a seller for £80, another seller for £90, another seller for £100. And again, you look at these percentages, 99% Amazon and 1% everyone else. Again, why is that? Well, in that case, and this, I don't have an example, unfortunately, here, but that's because no one has a competing offer that's actually, relevant for Amazon to actually give you the buy box. So if I jump onto this listing at £100, of course I'm not going to get a buy box percentage. Why would they give it to me? Amazon, in the end of the day, everything they do is about obviously making them money, but also having a good experience for customers. So they're not, while they're offering it for 67, they're not going to buy box me for when I'm at £100. Now, when you should be concerned is when there's loads of sellers on there, all at the same price as Amazon, and they're still not sharing it, and they've been on there for 30, 90, 180 days, all at a competitive price, and Amazon's still at 99%. That is when you should be concerned. But you've got to make sure, it seems really obvious, but make sure that one, there's been other sellers on there, two, that other sellers on there are competitive. And there's another point as well, but I've forgotten. But yeah, basically, and then also as well, looking at the history as well, and understanding, Like, how long has a seller been on there as well? A seller might have just jumped on as well. They might have been on there for one day. Again, this is a 30-day view. Again, Amazon will have a 99% or 98% buy box. You need to understand how long other people have been on the listing for as well at a competitive price. So it's pretty simple stuff, but the amount of people that come on here and go, Amazon won't share the buy box on that one. It's like, yeah, there's no other sellers, and why would they? It makes no sense. So anyway, that's just what to talk about that. Anyway, any thoughts about that, guys? Let me know. But yeah, that's kind of something I see all the time, and that's why I really, honestly, don't ever look at buy box. I'm not saying Amazon will always share the buy box. Generally, I find though, if you are on a listing and you're competitive and you're on there for a decent amount of time, Amazon will share the buy box. And then if they don't and they really will not share it at the price that they're at the moment, then you can always try and drop the price slightly, and then it'll basically, you probably will get the buy box then. So yeah, so just want to address this fake promo code thing. It's not fake code. Morgie, I think it's Morgie. I don't know if it's the same person. You're talking about Kugita. They just don't. The promo code's just disabled for now. It's not just mine. It's every single affiliate code is disabled. There's too much fraud going on the platform. They're restarting it all, hopefully in the 1st of November. But yeah, so apologies for that. But yeah, it's on my wallet as a promotion too. So confused. Oh no, interesting. Okay, not sure about that. DM me, mate. Anyway, DM me if you've got a problem with the promo code. It doesn't work right now, but yeah, if you've got a problem, let me know and I can have a look into it. So. Yeah, good question. That was a good question by a mentee anyway. So if anyone's interested in mentoring, by the way, this is the kind of stuff they can ask and you get an answer on it. Hopefully illuminate you on these ones, because so many people miss out on so many deals because they look at them and go, oh, buy percentage not shared. It's like, yeah, what? Well, basically, the first thing you should really ask, basically, if you want to look at buy box percentage and you see it's like 90%, 100%, whatever, ask why. Why is it? And if there's a no good, if there is, basically just ask why, basically, yeah. Ask why, and then dive into it and understand why they're not sharing it. Is there a real valid reason for it, or are they just hogging the buy box? So cool. So Source Soup, can a VAT registered seller's account make more profit as compared to Amazon VAT exempt account if both account make the same monthly sales of 10K in a month? Okay, let me get this. Can a VAT registered seller account make more profit as compared to an Amazon VAT exempt account if both account make the same monthly sales? VAT exempt account. So you mean a non-VAT and VAT, basically? No, VAT registered will always make less money, unfortunately. Now, I don't know the exact percentage of it. It's probably around 5%. But so when you're non-VAT registered, so when a lot of you are starting out, you cannot claim the VAT back when you purchase. But on the same side, you don't have to pay VAT on the sale. When you're VAT registered like I am, when I buy something, I can claim the VAT back, but when I sell it, I have to pay the VAT, and then it's there's the actual VAT that I pay to HMRC on that sale, for example, is the VAT on the sale, take off the VAT that I reclaimed on the purchase, and it's the difference essentially. So let's say, for example, I was able to claim £75 on the purchase, and then I owe £100 on the sale in terms of VAT. Then it's 100 minus 75 means I'll owe the HMRC or the government £25 basically. So that's how that works basically. So hopefully that explains. If not, let me know and I'll try and dive into it a bit deeper. What's your sourcing split roughly percentage-wise right now? It's a lot of Kugita, although Kugita's been really slow recently. I'm not going to lie, really freaking slow, honestly. I actually wonder if because they've added this new feature in. Let me show you quickly. I want to get to more interactive, so I'm actually showing my screen more. Let me just go to Kugita quickly and I'll switch over screens. So let me just find something like Hugo Boss, for example, as an example here. Okay, cool. Right. So what they've done, let me zoom in as well, is, and again, you can see here hard gated. You can also check the GTI information on here with OA Hero. You get this, it inserts it into the page, which is pretty cool. Anyway, so what they've started doing is this like tiered pricing. And I've noticed ever since this has come in, like you can get some good pricing, like this 1770 might be really good pricing, but it's hidden behind like 9,800 in purchasing. In the past, I swear this 1772 would be like basically under the 300. So I feel like this tiered pricing has maybe ruined a lot of the deals that are available. This is pure speculation right now. But I'm finding a profitable deal, but then I'm like, oh, I've got to spend like 9,800 quid. Whereas in the past, it would normally be around the 300. So yeah, that's something I found this week's been a bit rubbish on Quick Eater. Maybe I've just missed out on some of the deals, but yeah, I found it a bit slow myself. So but I do a lot of Quick Eater. I'm doing a lot of use RB Source, newsletter sourcing, using Hotkey deals, lots of looking for sales basically. But yeah, I need to get back to actually doing some proper sourcing because I've been a bit lax on the old sourcing recently, and now I'm suffering for it. But yeah, Quick Eater A2A as well. Don't forget that as well. So yeah, I've got it here. You can see it in here as a GoPro essentially. Got my latest vlog in there. I talk about my sourcing and what I do actually and how I do it. So it's in there basically. I need to actually upload that, edit and upload it. So, hey, Book2Graph, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. I'm catching up with the old chat. It's awesome to see there's so many questions and stuff and comments. Connor, how's it going? Hi. So I've started my seller account. I'm very stuck in the appeals. Is there a correct process to get rid of me being gated for a lot of items? Yeah, so well, in your first sort of 3 months, you're in that kind of probation period with Amazon. So, when it comes to ungating, a lot of brands and categories will be just, you won't be able to sell in. I don't know what brands and stuff you're trying to do, but yeah, it's definitely tough when you first start. Adrian's been going through this basically, and he's basically AD, and he's slowly building up and getting to that point where he's just basically focusing on ones he can sell. Built to Go After You do many today. Okay, that's one for him. So you're doing Built to Go After doing 40% A2A, 60% OA. Neil Halvas is Smiths and Sainsbury's have good toy sales, and Boots' gift set sale will do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so all these, you don't have to go to these weird and little mysterious websites in the corner of the internet. You can go to some of the big stuff. Like I've mentioned multiple times, John Lewis, one of my favorite sites to buy from. Pretty big site as well. So you don't have to go to these weird and wonderful places to get good deals. Built to Graph always mainly slow sellers, high profit. Okay, well, these are questions for Built to Graft. So, about the buy box percentages, I've come across a listing where a seller has held the buy box 74%. They came with 9 ounces. If I match the price, I've noticed other sellers don't really get it. So, a seller has held the buy box at 74%. They came in with 999 stock. If I match their price, I've noticed other sellers don't really get it. So you're saying basically you won't get a percentage. Is that what you're saying? Now, it does happen where you do jump onto listings. Someone's been on there for ages. They've got a lot of stock. It can sometimes be really hard to break in and get a decent share. I'm not going to lie. So, if you identify listings like that, a lot of the times people are worried about Amazon being the buy box. Actually, they do tend to share more often. It's actually the ones you actually should be more worried about is the ones where it's another seller who have been on their listing for. So when it comes to how do you determine who gets the buy box, multiple factors into it. Most of it's price, but it does come down to seller ratings, how long the seller's been on Amazon, how long they've been on that listing, for example, how much stock they've got, all this kind of stuff factor in. Sometimes you do jump on a listing where you are going to struggle getting that buy box percentage. So yeah, unless you want to cut, but yeah, I get what you're saying. So sometimes that does happen, to be fair. That's probably the only so yeah, when I say I look at buy box percentages, one thing I'm not looking at necessarily is Amazon that I'm worrying about too much, but sometimes that does happen on those listings. I've noticed that as well. It doesn't happen too often, but every now and then, if there's someone on there who's obviously on there all the time, so it's more likely to happen with wholesale leads than it is with OA leads, to be fair. So, but I'm not saying it can't happen. But sometimes you'll have someone who's been on the listing for like 2 years. They're always in stock. They've always got a competitive price. I mean, Amazon are just going to favor them. It sucks. But yeah, that is one time to actually look at buy box percentages. So is Quick Eater punishing sellers that cancel orders yet? No idea. I don't think so, no. But saying that, they did actually kick off a seller that cancelled lots of orders for me, but maybe I'm a special exception. But yeah, so I don't think so. But is that something you're happening a lot, Claudia? Let me know. So Built to Grass saying mixture, mate, slow SPM, high profit. Yeah. I'm the same. I bought one today that's like 1.5 sales per month, but it's like £50 profit. So I was like, okay, go on then. Also, there was there was one FBA seller, I think there was, but yeah, but I don't mind jumping on those, to be fair. They're not my favorite ones, but I do a mix as well. So I go for fast sellers. I've got one here that I've just sold now. It sells 300 per month. So I wouldn't say it's crazy, but it's not too bad, really. Actually, it's gone, it used to be more. It used to be 500, but the price has gone up slightly, that's why. And and then it should by Christmas. Actually, no, Christmas doesn't actually go up at all, really. It basically lives around 300 per month. Sometimes it goes up a little bit more, but yeah, so interesting. But yeah, that's and I do, and on that one I'm only making £1.52. It's all right, I guess. Another ones I've got where I'm making £100 plus per unit, so but it's slower seller. You're teasing price tiers. Yeah, exactly, Snappy. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to message you after this, Snappy. DM me. Did we get that issue resolved, Snappy? Let me know. DM me. I won't say what it is on here, but yeah, let me know if you got the issue resolved. Ish, do you think slow sellers is a good area to go for? Like CJB is a seller. Do you think slow sellers is a good area to go for? Slow sellers can be good if you're making big money. Again, I like to be making £30-50 profit per month on a listing. So if that's made up of 50 sales at £1 profit, this is an example, by the way, or one sale at £50 profit, that's the way I look at it. So my minimum, I don't know, it's probably £30 realistically, but sometimes it's more. Depends where I'm buying it from. But yeah, I'll look at it that way. So I'm like, oh, I could make 15 sales at £2, or I could make one sale at £30 profit. So that's the way I look at it. So Connor is saying, so at the moment I'm trying to just start with reduced items with RA to start these first 3 months. So I don't know how to appeal when I'm going with random reduced items. What do you mean by appeal, mate? You mean when it comes to ungating? You can't ungate with retail RA receipts, by the way. You cannot ungate with RA receipts. You have to use an invoice from an online retailer or online wholesaler. So for example, you can use an invoice from lego.com, for example. Helen, did you use lego.com? I don't know if I saw an answer when you ungated. There's also Pound Toy, I think it is, something like that. You can use for Lego and other things. But yeah, you will struggle if you're trying to ungate. You will not ungate without a retail receipt. So, but I'm not sure what you mean by appeal there. I'm in the process. Morgan's in the process of buying my first stock on Cogita, but on the payment screen it does not include your £100 wallet discount. It did show it on the order screen, which is confusing. So you've got that one there for it, 580. Ooh. I don't know what that is basically. We'll have to look into that afterwards. DM me afterwards, or I can message you. I've got you on Discord there, so I'll have a look into that. But to say the promo codes right now, they are. Well, if it's on your account, it should be okay, but the promo codes are getting some weird glitch thing. You guys can see that, I don't know. But anyway, the promo codes have been pretty much all disabled right now. There was too much fraud going on. They are resetting the entire thing. People were looping orders using the codes, and they just had to shut it down, basically. So, unfortunately, it got ruined for everyone. So, Helen, yes, she did. 10 items, all the same, as well as keychains. Cool, there you go. So, basically, use lego.com invoice to ungate. So, yeah. 300 SPM one is 47.2% ROI. I'm not saying I'm getting rich off this one, but there we go. It is what it is. There you go. That's it. Basically, I'm not saying I'm getting rich off this, but you know what? Well, you know, it does well. So you know, it's money. Money's money, basically. You know, after prep costs and stuff, I'm making about £1. But I don't know how many I sell a day, but this is actually not a bad little replan. So actually, I say I haven't got too many replans. This is probably like one of the very few replans I've got where I'm just like, whatever. It's easy for me. It gets pretty low returns, to be fair, and just, yeah. So, but yeah, it doesn't look very exciting, does it? Compared to like, let me find a more interesting one. So this, actually found just the sale before there actually was nice. This is not a bad one. I think I've shown this one before. You know, I've got quite a few of these in stock. You know, I've got a mix of kind of ones where I make. So that's that one. Here's another one, which is quite nice. This one's a little bit of a slower seller, but it's fine. You know, I've got the ones like this, and then I've got, you know, if I find this one here, this is always a nice one to show. This one here. I don't have any more stock of this one, but there we go, £106 on that one. So I do a mix, you know, I've got a mix of like, you know, high-end ones, and I think I've got another one here I'm going to show you quickly. Yeah, this one's a nice one as well. One more. So I've literally do it all. I've done high, in fact I do, you know, like this sale here, for example, I'm showing you now, it was on the 20th of October at 9 p.m. So there you go, 68% ROI. This is an OA item, you know. I don't know. It's just all over the place, you know. It's just like there's so many of these. Like there's another one. Just I could just post this off all freaking day. Another 30% R, 30%. Well, it's pretty much 30% RI, £30 profit. Yeah. So just like yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. Oh, this one's a nice one. I'll do one more. I like this one. I'm not gonna lie. This is a slow seller. I don't know how many of these I sell a month. I've got quite a lot of stock, but who cares? I'm just gonna keep these and just I don't know what's the sales per month on this one. Let me have a look. What's the sales per month on this one? Let's have a look here. It's not that great. I'm not gonna be honest, but I do get a sale. It's 12 a month, so okay, it's a little bit more than I thought actually. But yeah, so that's a really nice one to be fair. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, it just shows you kind of like the variety of stuff that I sell with. And pretty much, I'll be honest with you, those lower profit ones tend to be more Cogita sort of wholesaling ones, and those bigger profit ones tend to be more OA or OA kind of deals, basically, to be honest with you. So that's just to give you an idea. So yeah, to answer that question, yes, that's literally just a oh yeah, Snappy, yeah. Honestly, mate, Snappy, the amount of people that use my code fraudulently is insane, actually crazy. Last month, I think it was I don't know how many, a lot of people basically. So let me catch up with the quick one then. So Source Soup saying, I want to purchase your price drop tool, but I'm not understanding how does it work. I really work. Actually, there is already a price alert on Cogita, then unique feature on your tool. So just to be clear, it's not mine, it's my younger brother's. I mean, you could basically say nearly the same, but I get no financial incentive from it. It basically just keeps him afloat. My brother's in Thailand right now, just living it up on a fitness boot camp, actually. So when he comes back, I expect to see a different person with a six-pack and stuff. But yeah, so yes, Cogita do have their own price drop thing, absolutely. The only thing is you have to tell it. You have to literally say, oh, monitor this one here for a price drop. It's not going to just it doesn't tell you all the price drops that happen on the website. The second one is not as quick as the Cogita price drops. Cogita price drops, this is the server my younger brother has, is basically it'll monitor the entire site, like, I don't know how many times an hour, but like 3 or 4 times an hour, basically looking for the price drops. It'll look at the entire catalog. It'll tell you if a price drop's happened. If a price drop's happened, actually someone joined today and I was asking me, does that mean it's a deal? It's like, no, it doesn't. We are looking at price drops gives you an opportunity to find something that's profitable. It doesn't mean it's profitable, no guarantees it's profitable, but it gives you a really good chance or a better likelihood that you have found a deal. So it might be you get a Hugo, no, can't say, but whatever. Paco Rabanne, for example, normally sells 50 quid. Suddenly gets a 50% price drop. You go on, you go, wow, it's really profitable. I can buy it. But it might be that a lot of them are not. So sometimes it is very slow. There's nothing going on. There's a lot of price drops, but nothing's profitable on Amazon. So, but it gives you the best chance of finding a deal, basically. So that's the real difference. Now we also have a one on there where you can actually put a GTI in, and literally it will tell you within like it basically checks it like I think it's like every 5 seconds or 10 seconds, something like that. If there's a price drop on that particular ASIN, and it'll alert you, which is a bit similar to the Cogita one. But yeah. Yeah, so do you source that from Cogita? I don't know, I can't remember which one that was, but yeah, generally the lower ones are Cogita, in terms of the profits, but more quantity. So again, it's the thing. It's like, you know, OA. Sometimes these really good ones, I can only get a certain quantity. I might be making £70 profit per unit, but there's only so many I can get. But on some of the Cogita ones, I'm making maybe £1.50, £2 profit per unit. Sometimes a little bit more, but I've got like 500, 600 in stock. So it's just like, you know, it's a mix really. So that's what I mean. Like I went to the stores and pretty much anything I want to buy on Amazon asked me to apply to sell on all the products I wanted to buy and claims. Okay, cool. So first thing I say is make sure you actually click apply. Make sure you click apply and go through the process and see what it's asking for. Is it actually asking for an invoice, or does it actually auto-engage? Sometimes it does auto-engage. So definitely try that, to be fair. Morgan, I'll make my order and hopefully I can get Korea to give me the £100 refund. I don't know if they'll do that. I mean, you can go for it. But yeah, off my second order. To be honest, if you say, look, it's in there, before you order, Morgan, that £100 is in your promotional wallet, yes? Is that correct? Before you make the order. Connor is saying, so I wanted to ask, what should I do to make sure the clearance items I buy from the stores don't have to apply for? No, apply and actually see what happens. You know, it might say, yes, it's in your wallet. Okay, crazy. I'm not sure why that is then. Very strange. It should actually be applying at that point. I don't know on that one, Morgan. So it's up to you if you want to make that order. If you think it's really profitable and stuff, I'd go ahead and order it, and then make it and go look at if some reason it didn't apply. So I'm sure they'll look after you. It's up to you. But yeah, so Helen's saying you've just mentioned £30 profit per item or items. Would you choose lower amount per with a lower out? So you just mentioned £30 profit per item or items. Would you choose a lower amount per item with a lower outgoing budget? So what I mean by is I want to make £30 on that listing per month realistically to make it worth my while to sit and order that item and then potentially chase invoices. Not that I do that myself, but for me to sit there and be worthwhile, there's no point me sitting there and, like, let's say, for example, there's a listing I find which makes £5 profit. Okay. Let's say it's 40% ROI, £5 profit. That sounds really good, but it only sells 1 time a month. That's not worth it for me to sit and order that because I'm like, well, it's just, that's something arrogant. That's not worth my time. I want to be making a certain amount per listing per month. Now, let's say on that one, for example, let's say it's on a website which is really easy to order from. Maybe I'll bother. Probably not still. But, maybe I'll do it. But, when you order from these websites, you have to create it depends if you order from them, but create an account, log in, make sure your address is all correct, make sure the promo codes work, all that. It takes time to order this stuff. It actually does take a lot of time to make orders on OA. So for me, I'm looking at how much can I make on that listing per month. That's the most important thing for me. Looking at the sales per month, let's say it's 100 sales per month on that listing. How many other sellers are there that are competitively priced? Let's say there's 4 other sellers. Now, if I jump on that as well at a competitive price, let's say it doesn't quite work like this, but let's say there'll be 5 sellers at that point. I'd expect to get 20 sales at that 100, so 20% essentially. Because I'd expect to get my fair share. Doesn't quite work like that, but that's the way I'd look at it. So out of that 20 sales, then I'd multiply that by the profit I'm making on that item. So let's say I'm making £1 profit on that item. Well, that means I'm only making £20 per month on that listing. Is that worth it for me to bother doing it? Probably not at that point. So it maybe that is made out of, it could be that I'm making a higher profit per unit and I'm making less sales. So let's say it's a 10 sales per month listing. I'm expecting to make 2 sales a month, but each sale is making me £15 profit in case I buy that. Or it could be more sales but lower profit. Great if you can get one that sells a crap load every month and makes you £30 profit. Great, whatever, but that's where I'm looking at it basically. So, so if it takes for an invoice, I shouldn't sell it. Yeah, so if it's asking for an invoice, probably not worth the ungate process. Yeah, so basically, but I see what it asks, there are a few little tips and tricks, but I won't go into them here. But they're a bit naughty, but I don't recommend them. But yes, but essentially apply and see what it's asking for. Sometimes there'll be Zara. Yes, I did. I only ordered from one, to be fair. I only ordered from one. I didn't order from the other one. But yes, it's apparently it's last time I checked, if I go to Amazon quickly, it had past customs clearance. So apparently it's going to be delivered 20th of November to 2nd of December. But it has been posted by Every, apparently, and it's completed customs clearance yesterday at 6:29 a.m. So yeah, we'll see basically what's going on with that one. We'll see. Well, it's going to be fake. I know it's going to be fake. So I don't think that seller is on the listing anymore, by the way. I didn't see either of the Chinese sellers on there anymore. So either they've sold out or they've been kicked off, or I don't think they're on anymore. Anyway, let me just double check. Oh no, they are on there again. Okay, I can see him now. Yeah, he's got. Okay, no, they are in there. I don't know why I thought they were off. I think it's the other seller that's off. But anyway, they're definitely still on there. Yeah. Well, I'll be putting a. Oh my God! Oh wow! That seller, by the way, it's. Okay, let me have a look at this quickly. All right. So this is the seller from. Let me just go here. I'm going to just close down that one there, so you can't see that. Cool. Right. This is the seller here. Okay. So when I did looked at the seller on Monday, they had 420 or 480 products in stock. They've now got 5,000 results. This is a seller that is brand new, is in China. I think all this stuff is basically dispatched from China. Yeah, it's shipper and seller is this Chinese seller here. No feedback, whatever, in China. I mean, again, I don't know if I'm being like racist or anything, but these are going to be fake. Come on. Like they are. You know, they've got some weird stuff here anyway. But like, isn't this an aftershave? Yeah, no 13. But how have they got so many 5,000 results? They've got 5,000 ASINs on Amazon. Brand new seller, crazy. Now the other thing I saw as well, if I go onto this one, there was another seller as well that had the exact same listings on here. They're not on here anymore. Okay, they've gone now. Okay, interesting. So I wonder if that other seller has been kicked off. Interesting. Let me go to this one here. I wonder if that other seller's been kicked off, because there was another seller on there, but now they're not on there anymore. Oh, interesting. I wonder if that seller's got been banned, because they were multi-accounting, essentially. But yeah, anyway, so it's crazy. They're obviously using a bot or something upload, sheet uploads and stuff to sell things. But yeah, yeah, I don't know, all sorts of random stuff in here anyway. I don't know if they've got any good brands in here or not, but yeah. They've got some, this is K-Beauty, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, just crazy. Like, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Hyundai, Anyway, wow, they've got a lot of listings. 5,000 listings. Absolutely crazy. So keep an eye on that store, I guess. I'm going to bookmark it, actually, after this and have a look. But yeah, keep an eye out on that one. Interesting. So, yeah, Amazon have a massive problem with fake Chinese sellers coming on, and they just do not seem to be solving it properly, basically. I won't get too much into it, but yeah, their way of solving it just doesn't work. So, Source Soup, there's some very, very low price for some G-Channels and Computer. Does your price drop tools alert about those deals? Some very, very low price for some G-Channels. It honestly, it alerts you if it's dropped in price, basically. That's all I can say. Let me just get a quick screenshot here. So, let me just show you what it looks like. Essentially, it's this. These are the channels here. So you've got 5 to 10, 10 to 25, blah, 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 all the way to 75, 100. This is percentage price drop. So if it's 75 to 100% price drop, it will ping in that one, or ping in the other ones as well. And then it's got this price change CSV where it basically takes all the price changes for that past hour, whether they're 1% or 100%, and puts them in a CSV file, which you can then put into Arbisource. Cameron saying, can you find wholesale products using Arbisource? I've noticed you can scan the Kugita catalog. So Kugita is pretty much the only wholesale thing they've got on there. You can use it, but you'd have to use the wholesale scanner. Again, let's make this more interactive. I need to get better at doing this because I have to keep switching around. But they have a wholesale scanner on there. So if I quickly just go onto Arbisource on here, and I'll share my screen just a second. Let me just log in first so you don't see my login details. Go to scans. Cool. Right, here we go. Let's go. Here we go. Oh, you can see some stuff I was searching earlier. Oh, well. Yeah, so you can see some custom scans I had earlier. You go to the scans on the left-hand side, and then you go to wholesale here. So then you can put in a wholesale sheet. So if you've got a wholesaler that you already know about, you can put the sheet into here, upload it, tell it, what the things are, and then you're good to go, basically, on that one. So, yeah, you can use wholesale scan there. It doesn't have any natively built-in wholesalers apart from Kugita. So yeah, that's that one anyway. Good questions, guys. God, we got some good questions coming on here. But yeah, hey Brad, thanks for joining us, by the way. Hey Zion, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys coming on. Connor, can I DM you about them tips and tricks you're talking about? Because this is a big hurdle for me. Go on, man. Yeah, I don't advocate them though, but yeah, go on. I don't really advocate them. I don't really advocate them, basically. I think you should just do everything legit. I know all the little tips and tricks and stuff. I do not actually advocate them. So I am of the opinion that Amazon is, again, I was saying this to my mentee earlier. So if those who don't know, I do a mentorship program. I was talking to this guy on an onboarding call, and I said, look, we don't want to take any risks. His goal with this is to get to the point where he's making 5,000, 10,000 profit a month, so he can quit his job and do this full time. There's no point risking all that promising future by taking shortcuts early on. And this is more in relation to like IPs and stuff like that we were talking about. So, you have to think of this as a golden goose. And right now, if you're a new Amazon seller, your golden goose is just a little chick, not laying any golden eggs just yet, but you've got to look after it and nurture it and know that in the long run, this thing's going to be laying golden eggs for you. You've got to look after it. Take a long-term view with all this stuff, essentially. So you only get one Amazon account. pretty much, unless you do sneaky stuff. You don't want to risk it, basically. So I'm always of the maybe it's my old age, and listen to Charlie Munger on YouTube a lot, the old Berkshire Hathaway investor or owner, I should say. Just definitely taking longer term views, less risky views, and thinking of this thing as a long term thing. Like I say, you've got a bright future in Amazon where you can make crazy money. You don't want to risk it by doing stupid little shortcuts early on. But yeah, so. I'm good, by the way, Zion. Thanks for joining us. I'm actually really good. Went for a walk earlier. It's freaking cold out there, not going to lie. I'm missing Dubai a little bit, but yeah, there we go. So would you still use Boots? It's not very friendly on OA Hero. I don't use Boots. I'm Lifeband. You can use it, definitely, but you got to be really freaking careful. You got to order like 1 or 2 units. Boots just very anti-reseller. It's part of their culture, in the business culture. They're just very anti-reseller. I mean, it's very obvious on the website. They don't like resellers. So yeah, you don't want to you don't want to basically do anything to basically, most people start off buying Boots, they get banned. If you want to stay under that radar, just order 1 or 2 units. Keep your orders down. Don't do multiple orders because they'll ban you, and it's really hard to get another account. So, it's pain basically. So you can do it, but you really got to stay under the radar. And I do mean 1 or 2 units here and there. So exactly, Brad. Yeah, it's a very valuable thing. It's really Amazon are hot on stopping multi-accounting. I'm sure there's loads of tactics out there and stuff you can do, but you don't want to end up just a pain really. Just look after your Amazon account and say take a long-term view, especially if Amazon's not a get-rich-quick thing. Basically, it's a long-term thing. It's a viable business. It's a legit business. You just take it seriously, basically. Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on, buddy. Thank you. I'll try. Thank you. Can you show your Amazon Seller Central today live sale? So I won't show you my actual Seller Central, but I can screenshot it for you. So I'm not going to go on to actual Seller Central, but let me just go in now and I'll screenshot. So let's have a look here. So this is my sales here. And you can see, there we go. So that's my sales today. Interesting. Do they match up? They think they actually, oh, wow. Oops. I was going to say they match up perfectly with Seller Toolkit. There was someone the other day saying their sales didn't match up with their Amazon and their Amazon and their I can't know if they're using Seller Fuse or Seller Toolkit or something, weren't quite matching up, or they order number count or the quantities. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, for me, it's all matched up perfectly, to be fair. But there you go. So that's a snapshot of it. Yeah. I don't know why you wanted that. Is it just proof or? But yeah, I need to be careful about showing you my actual Seller Central because it's got on the homepage. It's got the products I sell. It's got my store name on there. It's got some other things basically. But I can probably screenshot this for you. The entire Oh, interesting. Actually, I thought I'd turn this off, but yeah, I've got some ads going actually. Yeah, I think I can show you this one. I think that's safe enough. But yeah, there you go. That's my kind of bit more information showing inventory performance, featured by, that's back now, that was broken. Oh no, but it's what have I got? I've got ad impression. Oh yeah, it's just over here. There we go. I was like, where's the ad impression thing? I'm doing a little bit of ads here and there for some products that I'm struggling to sell, but not something I normally do. I actually thought I turned it off, so I need to look into that. What am I spending on that? Interesting. I need to look into that. Anyway, I need to look into that anyway. But yeah, that's Seller Central there. So there we go. 43. See, it says 43 pending orders, but then on Seller Toolkit it says 49. Oh, it's 49 units. That's why, not 49 orders. So maybe there's multiple, like people have ordered like 2 in an order or something. But yeah, so there you go. That's pretty much all I'm willing to show on there. Basically, anything else is just going to show my store name and yeah. Hey, this is a nice one. Not that I'm going to do it, but yeah, Amazon's like, you can have 100K if you want. But yeah, if you pay us a ridiculous amount of interest. But yeah. Anyway, so I just changed my mindset to finding 100 units I could sell, no focused on profit, just getting the sales reputation now of over 450 units and 20. Exactly, yeah, Adrian. So Adrian was new to Amazon. He was in that he's still in that first sort of 3-month probation period. I was feeling for him, to be fair, because it was quite difficult. I think especially when you're new in Amazon, you've got to take that long-term view and also of like just, even if you're not necessarily making profit, you're just maybe breaking even, making slight bit of profit. Just get some sales under your belt, prove to Amazon you're legit, you're real, you know, and go from there basically, which is exactly what Adrian's doing. And yeah, once you get out of that 3 month, that kind of probation period, things do open up a bit more to you. There's categories you can definitely sell and brands that become more open to you. You still have to go through the engaging process, but basically you've proven to yourself, Amazon, you're not like a flash in the pan sort of seller. You are legit and stuff like that. So I think definitely, like, again, I even say this, like, for the first year, your first year is for learning, second year is for earning. Now, you can still make money in your first year of Amazon, but you should think of this as a learning experience. I actually am helping a childhood friend of mine who wants to get into Amazon. So I had a chat with him today, and they're saying, look, our goal is not going to be making money right away. And we basically start with £1,000. I said, look, realistically, with £1,000, you know, you're looking to make probably £100 to £150 profit per month from that £1,000. You know, let's just say 100. Once we factor in those subscriptions that you've got, £30 for Seller Central. Seller Ramp is £23, I think. Keepers, €19. What else was there? I can't remember now. You know, once we factor these in anyway, it comes, you know, we're basically not losing money, but we're basically breaking even. But what we're doing is we're building our account. We're showing Amazon we're real. We're proving the concept as well. Again, I've spoken to hundreds of people who literally are saying, I want to start Amazon with £500,000. But once I prove it's real, once I get some sales under my belt, once I'm actually convinced that this thing's real, I've got like 20 grand behind me, 30 grand behind me, 10 grand, whatever it is basically. And then they can then deploy that into the business slowly or once they want. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, well done, Adrian. That's awesome to see. I love seeing that, to be fair. That is awesome. And Adrian's just been sticking with it, persevering, not giving up, basically. Which is awesome to see, to be fair. Because I'm not going to lie, Amazon's not the easiest business right now. But yeah, it's not the easiest business to get into. Once you're in it, it's okay. But just getting engaged, it's tough. But they are doing it deliberately. And I think I've shown you why earlier. Although it's apparently still people can bypass that. I don't know. I don't no idea what's going on there. But yeah. But anyway, interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to, let's actually, you know, when that Versace perfume arrives, what I'm doing is I'm going to go down to Boots. I'm going to take it with me and go, look, have you got this one in? Or I'll have to buy it on Superdrug or something like that or whatever. Or maybe I'll buy it from Amazon, direct from Amazon. I'll take the fake one and the good one and we'll compare it on stream together, basically. Or maybe I'll get a top-down camera going. I've actually got one already over there. I can swing over. But yeah, and we'll do like a comparison and see, basically. I hope that Amazon don't like kick me off Amazon or something for this. But yeah, slating them. But yeah. Steep learning curve Amazon. It is, yeah, to be fair. So which is, again, why I do these, try and help you guys out. Because the biggest problem with Amazon, right, is there's no logic behind it. People think, I apply for an ungate and they reject it. That's the end of it. It's like, no, that's not how Amazon works. You've got to keep applying, basically. It's like, it's just a bot, you know, or if you do something, that's the end of it. It's like, no, that's not how Amazon works. It's a weird little system. It's silly. It's whatever it is. But yeah, there's a lot to learn through it, but the rewards can be fantastic. So yeah, it's one of those ones anyway. But again, why I do this, basically, I do realize that I was speaking to my friend today. I was like, Brad is going to probably fall off his chair laughing here, and some of you guys will. I really need to make that beginner's course or guide. Really get that out. But when you sit down and think about it, it's like, oh my God, there's so much you need to cover. It's actually a little bit overwhelming. But I just need to sit down and just do one thing at a time and just get that damn thing done, basically. Oh God, yeah, because it's right now I don't have a really good resource for beginners to get in where I literally go from the beginning. But I've got this friend who is literally starting Amazon, so that's going to be really good for me because I'm going to say, like, I'm going to go helping him and go, okay, because people are asking me, like, what brands can you sell as a beginner? I'm like, I've got no idea. It's been 3.5 years since I was a beginner, so that would be really good for me to see what brands he can sell on, stuff like that, and that'd be a good experiment. So, mate, Brad, I know exactly, yeah. So, yeah, I did kind of get some guides started, but yeah, anyway, and I filmed some bits, but yeah, they're probably so out of date now. In fact, I think they are, because I think I talked about adding stuff to inventory, and that page has changed now. You guys noticed in the past week when you had, maybe 2 weeks, I think it is, add stuff to inventory, they've changed the page. Nothing really massive going on, but yeah. So Source Soup saying, if tax on purchase is 100% claimed, then still output VAT is more than compared to input VAT, then how VAT register is more profitable as compared to VAT exempt. Can you explain, please? Okay, well, again, let me just, okay. If the tax on purchase is 100% claimed, Okay, hang on. What we're going to do here, right? Okay, let's do this. I'm going to give me a second, guys. Let me sort myself. I'm going to get a spreadsheet out here. Let me close down Seller Central so I don't accidentally leak stuff. Right, I wasn't planning on doing anything kind of live, that kind of like math, but we'll we'll try and jump into it. Right, okay, cool. Okay, so let's jump into Talking Head here. Cool, can we see this? Right. So, give me some numbers, Source Soup. You are buying a product. Let's say your cost price, what we call this cost of goods. Okay, sale price. Your cost of goods is, hang on, let's do it this way. Let's do cost of goods. Come on, there we go. Right. Cost of goods is £100. Okay. Your sale price is £200. Okay, cool. Right. How do you know? So when you get cost, and then over here, we're going to put the VAT. Right. So if your cost of goods is £100 and you sell for £200, how much VAT do you owe the HMRC basically? So we'll do like VAT owed or something. Apologies, I'm literally doing this freestyling this basically. So, right, so the VAT on £100. The way you figure this out is you do 100, so it equals 100 divided by 6. Oh, it's because I've made it a pound. That's why. 1 second. I'm not like an Excel wizard. So if you buy something for £100, you can claim 16.66. Let's actually make this 225. I'm just going to do 225. Okay, cool. Right. So if you buy something for £100, you can claim from the government 16.66, which means your actual cost, you know, after actually taking off VAT, your excluding VAT price is 83.33, which is called recurring, whatever. Okay. Right. Cool. Sale price is 225. How do you figure out the VAT on this? Again, while VAT is currently 20%, we can do this nice calculation. If they put it up to 21%, you can't. There's rumors they're going to do it. So this is, again, it's going to be that divided by 6 gives you 37.5. So when you buy the item, essentially, as soon as you buy this, essentially, HMRC owe you £16.66. Okay, the government owe you £16.66. All right. When you then sell it, you then owe the government £37.5, okay? However, you are essentially owed the 16.66, but you're paying this 37.5. So what you do basically is what you actually pay here is 37.5. You take off the £16, and then that is the difference. You end up paying the government 20.83. Let me see if I can format these to, again, I'm not like a, what do we want? Finances or something? Counting, finances, I don't know. Anyway, it's dollars, whatever. Format, we do. Anyway, you get the idea anyway. Currency is going to be, I don't know why it's dollars. Anyway, you get the idea anyway. I don't know if that's going to confuse them more or less, but anyway. So I don't know how you change currency. But anyway, so does that explain it to you? So if you want to throw some more numbers out, if you've got a specific number source, we can talk about those. Hey, Nathan, how's it going? Thanks for joining us, by the way. We're talking about how does VAT work? Source is asking some interesting questions about, I'm just trying to get my head around the question, but yeah, so does that explain it for you, Source Soup? So again, let's say, for example, you buy something for £50, but I really want to change this from dollars. Format, how do we do it? Number, why is this in dollars? Okay, British, there we go, cool, right, cool. So let's say you buy something for, and this is as well, format, number, British pound sterling. There we go, cool. You buy something for £50. The government immediately essentially owes you this is when you're VAT registered, by the way. The government owes you £8.33. You sell it for £2.25. You then owe the government 37.5. However, you get to reclaim the 83.3. And then basically what this does is essentially, imagine you're doing this thousands of times a month because you've got so many purchases, so many sales. But then you owe 29.9. So again, you can see the number goes up and down depending on how much you are basically. Have I done that right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes, right. Yeah, there you go. So cool. Oops, yeah, 100. There we go. Cool. So it makes sense. Yeah, cool. Okay, hope that makes sense. I don't know if I've lost anyone on this one here. Everyone's clicked off because it's boring. I don't know, but anyway. Does that explain it, Source? Okay, that's how you do a basic VAT calculation on one single sale, essentially, on one purchase. Zara, why do some sellers indicate they are VAT registered by including in the sale? That's because if you're not VAT registered, then a business who buys from you cannot claim the VAT back. So, for example, if I sell something for £100, okay, and someone and I'm not VAT registered, and a business buys from me, well, as I am not VAT registered myself, I am not paying VAT on this sale, so I'm not paying this 37.5 whatever. So it means the person buying it can't claim this VAT back. So businesses who can claim VAT back want to be buying from other businesses who are VAT registered, because if a business they're buying from isn't paying VAT, then there's no VAT to claim back, basically. So again, I'm not an accountant, right? But this is the basics of it, okay? So if you want to ask, this is correct, by the way, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not an accountant. So, yeah. VAT registered are not more profitable. They're not more profitable. So, okay, this is a VAT registered seller. Okay, here we go. Interesting. Right. Well, okay, let's say, and then, okay, right. So then the profit on this one, by the way, okay, I'm not going to include Amazon fees, okay? So this is going to be a VAT registered seller. Okay. Right. This is a VAT registered seller. Okay. Right. Cool. There we go. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, cool. And this is going to be a non-VAT seller over here. Apologies, this is boring, you guys. Anyway. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, it's an interesting question anyway. Cool. Right. So as a VAT registered seller, you buy something for £100, you sell it for $225. The VAT owed is 20.883, but then you knock off, the profit will be 225 minus, so your sell price is 225. You take off the cost of goods, which is 100. Again, I'm hoping I'm doing this right, minus the VAT. Okay, so why is that false? Oh, sorry, that's why. Okay, cool. So your profit would be 104.17. Now let's do this as a non-VAT registered seller. So you pay £100. You sell it for $225. There's no VAT to claim, basically, so we won't even bother putting that in. The VAT owed is 0. And then what's your profit? Your profit is going to be $225 minus 100. Why F5 minus... Why is that false? Equals 225 minus 100. I don't know why that's doing that. But anyway, it's 125 anyway. So that's the difference, basically. Okay, so a non-VAT seller will make more money, basically. Okay, cool. Hopefully that's kind of explained it. Formatting. It could be formatting, yeah. So I don't like it. So Excel's pretty cool, to be fair. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. Anyway, so does that make sense? So, and this is, non-VAT, basically. So, okay, does that make sense? Hopefully that's done it anyway. We can always come back to this if we want, but yeah. So, cool. That was a fun little... on-the-fly VAT calculations. Hopefully I did that correct. I might have done on that profit one. It might be slightly incorrect, but yeah. But no, I'm pretty sure it's right. Anyway, here's what it is. Cool, fun times anyway. So good question. Hopefully that explained. But yes, non-VAT makes more money than VAT. We're not going to go into other things which are more complicated than that. That is a really simplistic thing, by the way, but it illustrates it. Now, again, I'll throw this out there just to confuse things slightly. It's still more profitable to be non-VAT than it is VAT registered. However, the one advantage a VAT seller has, slightly, is that there's a thing called VAT on fees on Amazon, and a VAT registered seller can claim those back as basically claim them back on their profit, essentially. On the sale, basically, if that makes sense. But a non-VAT seller can't. However, they're fairly minimal. So they do add up, don't get me wrong, but yeah. So that's the one thing they can't claim back anymore. So yeah, that's the only slight little difference, I suppose, there. But yeah, definitely, again, just to clarify, a VAT registered seller will make less money than a non-VAT seller. Cool, awesome. Fun times, good question. On the fly, there we go. So hopefully I've done it correctly. So... yeah, okay. And by the way, that's a good little trick, by the way. Obviously, if you want to add VAT to something, you times the number by 1.2. And if you want to remove the VAT, we'll find out what the VAT on the number is. You can divide it by 6. That only works while VAT is at 20%. If they put it to 21%, that divided by 6 won't work anymore. So, but yeah, anyway, it is what it is. So, and we all know that's going up, by the way. It's going to go up to like 21, 22%, I think. But yeah, I think it's going to go to 22. We'll see. Which will ruin that little trick. But anyway, any other questions, guys? I've not sent you all to sleep. Hopefully that explains it anyway. But you don't need to worry about that because when you use Celeramp, it figures it all out for you. Okay. And when it comes to filing, your accountant does it for you. It's good to understand how it works. Don't get me wrong. But you don't do this on a daily basis. You know, Celeramp, or whatever tool you're using, BuyWork Pro, Celeramp, or there's another one coming out called Profit Paths. What is that already? Profit Path, Profit Go, I think it's called. I'll give them a free shout out there. They figure that out for you. So you put it in, as long as you configured it correctly, you say you're VAT registered, it'll basically figure that all out for you. It'll figure out the differences on those VAT. And then when it comes to actually filing it every quarter, you let your accountant deal with that. That's what you're paying them for, basically. That's their job, to worry about that. But yeah, anyway, so awesome. Any other questions, guys? So let me know. Any other questions? Are we we're coming to a conclusion on this stream? So I'm happy to hang out for a bit longer if you've got any other questions. Does that answer your question, Source Soup? Any other questions? Let me know. But yeah, interesting stuff. Fun times. I actually don't think I've had a single sale since I started that. Oh no, I've actually sold another one of those for £1.52. So yeah, so okay. No, that's okay. Weird enough, I've still got some sneakers left over, and I sold one today. Weirdly enough, I didn't think I had any left, but I was just looking today, and apparently I do. This is quite weird. So yeah, I'm still selling the sneakers. There's some leftover ones that I've got, but yeah, it's not too bad actually. 2 left apparently on that one. Yeah, if you're not interested in tax and that, stick to the job. Yeah, so like I said, it's good to know it, but you don't necessarily need to know, if that makes sense. So it's good to understand it. And actually, it's probably something I should probably cover in my mentor program, actually, but kind of. Someone did actually ask me, said, "Oh, do you cover accounting?" I was like, it was asked me, I think it was yesterday. I was like, "Oh, not really," because it's kind of getting beyond the scope of what I do. But I was like, we can get the accountant in and teach you how to do Xero and stuff, like, and things like that. But well, you've got your accounting, your filing, but obviously in between that, you've got your bookkeeping. We're obviously using Xero or what's the other one's called? I can't remember anyway. There's other ones out. I use Xero. Like I said, I'm not an accountant that you can use, and that's essentially just little bookkeeping here and there. So potentially that, but yeah, it's not something I don't do it myself. VA does it for me. Accountant does my taxes for me. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so, but yeah, it's good to have an understanding. You really don't need to deal with that on a daily basis. You don't need to understand it at all. I want to know about secrets that how accountants save lots of taxes for Amazon. Ask an accountant, mate. I've got no idea. I'm not an accountant, so yeah. Oh, Link My Books. Yeah, that's the biggest scam ever, Link My Books. I think it's more expensive than the actual accounting software. But yeah, especially when you start throwing another region in there. I think I'm paying like £30-40 a month just for UK Amazon. I don't think I've even got eBay on there yet. I'm not sure. Anyway, it costs a lot of money. But yeah, I don't know, mate. I'm not an accountant, mate. So what I've done there is pretty much, I guess, the end of my kind of what legitimate. Again, I'm not an accountant, but what legitimate expenses you can do, like if you're going out for a meal that's a business related meal. Sure, you can probably expense that. Doesn't mean you can go out and get your Tesco meal deal every day as an expense. If you've actually got a legitimate thing. Obviously, if you buy an iPhone, for example, it's part of your business. If you're non-VAT registered, you can still claim this as an expense. But it still costs you £1,000, let's say, for example. If you are VAT registered, you can still claim an expense, but you can actually get back the VAT as well. So it only costs you £833, I think it is. What's that? Anyway, basically something around there anyway. So you can claim off expenses like your computer, your keyboard, your mouse, your camera. If you need cameras for your business, all those kind of expenses can happen as well. What else can you do? I don't know. Any kind of software costs, of course, are expenses. So you can take off. At the end of the day, you're only paying profit on your. You're only paying taxes on your profit. So if any costs of running the business, you can take off. Like if you got an iPhone, you need a computer, salaries, all that kind of stuff, basically. If you're paying yourself a salary, that comes off the corporation tax, essentially. Things like that. So yeah, those are kind of, I guess, off the top of my head, like not an accountant tips and tricks, which are just obvious. But yeah, you can't. I mean, I think I think if you're doing a legitimate business meal, I think it's probably fine. Again, I am not an accountant, so I don't know. I know every year you get a Christmas allowance, and there's a certain amount you can spend on directors versus employees. I know people, yeah, like this. I don't do this, but apparently I'm not an expert. I say I don't know. I don't do this. I'm so by the book, it's ridiculous. But because like this room is technically used for work, in theory, I could maybe take 1/5 of the bloody energy, 1/5 of the internet, 1/5 of the electric, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. Ask an accountant. I certainly don't do it because I really can't bother to sit and deal with that. It probably adds up to a few £100 a year or whatever, but it's really not worth it. So yeah, a portion of the house mortgage, yeah, 1/5 of your house mortgage, that kind of stuff. I think you're not feeling comfortable on my questions. I'm pretty comfortable, mate, but at the same time, I'm not an accountant, so I don't ever pretend to like know stuff that I don't. So the VAT stuff, I understand and know the basics of it. Do I actually file the VAT returns myself every year? No, God no. But do I know how to calculate a VAT thing? In terms of like on a, let's say, an individual basis? Yes. When it comes to like I'm not an accountant, so no, I don't do these things myself. I don't file my accounts every year. So yeah, so I'm not uncomfortable, mate. I'm just being truthful, basically. So yeah. So Brad's saying that is true. You either divide the rooms in your house or the floor. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think a friend of mine does that. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, to be honest, look, if you can do the mortgage, that might be worth doing. If you're just doing your internet and stuff, I'm like, Oh, I can't do. Okay, you can't do internet. That has a business. Okay, you get specific business broadband then, basically. Yeah, so that's probably the way to do it. Then just make your entire internet business broadband, then you can expense it, and then if you happen to use it for your Netflix, I guess. Again, I'm not financial advice or accounting advice or whatever. So, Sauce Soup, ask away, mate. Ask any question you want about any of this stuff, and I'll be honest. If I know the answer, I'll tell you. If I don't, I don't. Basically, yeah. Like I say, for the 10th time. Yeah, so anyway, it is what it is. So, yeah. Oh, right. Any other questions then? Some good questions there you got actually in there, Source. It actually got me to get the spreadsheet out and talk about the VAT stuff. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Hopefully I did the math correctly. Like I say, you don't have to do that on a daily basis yourself. But yeah, I guess the one thing that's worth mentioning as well is if you are, there are some products that are VAT exempt. Again, don't ask me to give an extensive list, but coffee, for example, is VAT exempt, which means you don't have to pay VAT when you buy it, and you don't have to pay VAT when you sell it. You have to, when you create the listing on Amazon, you have to select the correct like tax code for it. It's like something generic coffee or something. I don't really do much coffee or things like that, or VAT-free items. Occasionally I've done some. But yeah, surprised you didn't ring your VA for a spreadsheet. Hey, Jamel, how's it going? I'm good, thank you. Cheers. Yeah, good. So in my country, Amazon is having 90% off FBA. How should I go about pricing and take advantage while it's on? Okay, I don't know what country are you in. That's the first question I've got. That's interesting. Secondly, is that FBA fees that it's off? Yeah, that's an interesting one. So do you sell only health and beauty products? No, I do sell a decent amount of health and beauty, to be fair, but I sell anything and everything I can make money on, basically. So I'd say health and beauty is definitely more skewed towards the Cogito side. And then when it comes to doing OA, it's pretty much anything and everything. Like I've done sneakers in the past. That was a big one for me. Like I said, I don't do I've got some leftover sneakers when I did sneakers. Let me just screenshot this quickly for you. I've just searched Nike here on my SDK, so you can see I've done like 3. This will include some removal orders and stuff like that, but let's say 3,800 orders of Nike. So I did a lot of sneakers for a while, but I said I don't do them now. I've got a few leftovers that do sell, but I don't know how many I've actually got in stock anymore. Let me actually search inventory Nike. Oh, I've actually got more than I thought, actually. I've got 17 ASINs. Okay, bloody hell. God, I'm just with random little sizes and stuff left over. So, yeah, but yeah, from whatever's left over, I've not bought a pair of sneakers for resale in like over a year. But they always were slow sellers. The money was made on having the variety of the sizes and the colorways. But yeah, I'll do tools, electronics, sports equipment. I don't know. And if I can make money on it and it's legal to sell, then I'll sell it basically. Here to help you, not to do it all for you. Yeah, exactly. So, but no, Jamil, Africa, okay, all FBA. Interesting. So, I mean, basically I don't know if like Seller Amp will even work there, to be fair, but yeah, find stuff that's profitable basically with those lower fees and get selling. Start sourcing products and get selling basically. That's all I can really say on that one. It's no different to me really in terms of how I do it, but my fees are just higher. But those are kind of factored in Seller Amp basically. I'm looking at the profit of the product. I don't look at the fees. They are irrelevant to me. They are ridiculously high, but I don't ever look at them because all I care about is how much money I can make on that product. So even if I'm making £5 on a product, but Amazon's making 50 quid on a product, it doesn't ever factor into my equation because I never look at it. So yeah, I just say just source like normal, find some profitable products. The fact that the fees are lower means that you'll have some better opportunities now, and that opportunity will disappear after that promotion's over. Yeah, I'd say get sourcing, get looking. Try Seller Amp. I don't know if it's going to work in Africa. What is it? Amazon dot. What's the extension? Is it Amazon dot? Let me know. I'm not sure what the actual URL is. Let me know and have a quick look and see if Seller Amp works there. Haven't Amazon just announced some lower fees for a period? Yeah, I think I saw something. But they also increased the fees. They did some sort of like Q4 handling fee or something, didn't they? So I did see something. I think it's one of these ones where it's like, oh, we're going to lower fees and overall you'll be better off. But realistically, it's like you're better off in some very like unique circumstances. But majority of the times you're not better off. I'll be honest though, I'm not sure. I know they did add in this handling fee. But yeah, again, I don't. Maybe I should be paying more attention to these kind of fees, but I don't really look. I mean, I see the email, I'm like, oh, okay, fees have gone up, whatever, Yeah, it doesn't generally affect me too much. Maybe, if I had some real thin stuff, maybe I could go through and see if I'm losing money. But if I'm selling something that's really thin, then that's more because I'm just trying to get rid of it. Co.za, interesting. Okay, Amazon.co.za, interesting, cool. Okay, wow, okay. Hugo Boss, let's search Hugo Boss there. Okay, they don't have it on there, but let's look at this one here. Let's see if Seller Amp works. If Seller Amp doesn't even work in this region, yeah. Hey, look, for one, there's a chance for you to make some tools there, software tools. But yeah, I don't know if there's any actual tools that are going to help you with that. So you might have to actually go down to bare bones and actually start doing the Amazon fee calculator to try and figure out if your things are profitable or not. Yeah, interesting, mate. Yeah, so yeah, best tips I can give you is go out and start sourcing, start looking, use the Amazon fee calculator to try and figure out if things are profitable. Summer, how's it going? How much capital would you recommend you need to make 1k profit with a rough ROI of 30%? It's quite easy. It's £10,000. That's what you need, basically. I say it's 10% generally is what I'd say is the total capital you need. Now, in theory, if you're buying, let's just take a snapshot, you're doing like 1k profit, and you're doing 30% ROI, how much you need to spend? It's about 3,333 off the top of my head. So if you do 333 divided by 100 times by 30, that should give you 1,000. But obviously, realistically, if you let's say you spent £3,300 in 1 month on some stock, for example, it's unlikely you're going to be able to sell all that stock in 1 month, which is why I always say you kind of need like 3 times that amount. So about £10,000. 333 times by 3 is 10,000. Basically gives you, it's a rough figure, that would get, about that 10,000 basically give total capital in the business. Spending roughly around 3,333 every single month would give you about £1,000 profit basically. So it's 10% of your total capital in the Amazon business, assuming you're actually using it to spend and buy stuff. Pretty much as a general rule. Sometimes it's higher, 15% maybe. So maybe you can make 1,500 out of 10,000, maybe even a little bit more sometimes. But yeah, that's a general rule. To be safe, I say 10%. So take the total capital in your business and divide it by 10. It gives you, or just take 10% basically. But yeah, good question though. So yeah, Jamil, yeah, you're gonna have to dive in and this is interesting because the tools that I've just tested there don't work on that region. Yeah, I don't know how long it's been around for or what's going on there, but yeah. What they give with the one hand, they take exactly, Brad. Exactly. My question is, should I rely on profit from the 90% off fee? Yes, absolutely. If that fee is there, if that is available, definitely, that's money in your pocket. Absolutely. Take advantage while that offer is on. understanding when it's going to end. If you can take advantage of that 90% off fee, I mean, I would. Let's say, for example, tomorrow Amazon said, look, 90% off fees on Amazon UK. There'll be a lot more products I could sell. Quick, I'd be on it ASAP, basically, and doing it. And obviously, if they said, look, it's only for the month of November, for example, I'd be like, sure, let's get stuff in for November and make sure it's sold before the promo ends. You can be sure I'd do that, absolutely, and hopefully I'd make a freaking fortune as well, because the fees are ridiculous. But yes, 100%, it's fine. And then you can reevaluate afterwards and go, look, is there still money in this after the fees are gone to normal, basically? I think they'd be around for a while if they're trying to introduce that into Africa. Yeah, so I'd say definitely do it, basically. Yeah, if you can. Yeah, if there's money to be made, definitely do it, mate. 100%. Good question though, and didn't even know that was around. To be fair, that they. When was that introduced? Is it quite a recent thing, or has it been around for a while? It's interesting stuff. I know they're like, I was obviously in Dubai, this year, technically. There's Amazon.ae. Out there, there's loads of promos going on. Not sure it's for sellers. I obviously wasn't selling in there, but as a buyer, there were loads of deals on, because out there's so many competitors out for doing deliveries and buying stuff. So Amazon had loads of promos on. Like, I think it was every time you basically spent like 30 AED, you got like 15% off. So I was like literally ordering but only like if you ordered like up to, I can't remember, was it 20? Anyway, it's a decent deal anyway. And I was literally ordering just like one pack of like 7-Up because it was like, it'll hit the maximum, but I get it really cheap and just get this poor guy turning up delivering it. But yeah, anyway, because the competition was so good, great out there. There's so many different delivery companies. Like there's, I can't remember they're called now, but yeah, there's loads of different ones out there, like Uber Eats and Deliveroo and I can't remember the other ones now. But anyway, the Amazon were doing loads of promos for buyers, so I'm sure they had something similar for sellers as well. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Take advantage where you can. 100%. This could be a big cash cow for you. Take advantage. Who's going to get your business going as well. It would suck. It's going to suck for you when the fees come back, because you're basically getting a 90% increase, pretty much. But yeah, but they still hopefully will be viable after that. So yeah, do it. Do it, mate. 100%. Awesome. Love to see it. It could be a good thing for you, mate. If you get on it now, it could be really good for you. And also it looks like the barrier to entry is really high, because there's no tools out there to help you. So you're gonna have to really dive into the dirt, I'd say, or into the nitty gritty of the Amazon calculator and stuff like that. And yeah, it could be really good for you, mate. Honestly, could be potentially life changing. Who knows? Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Been a good session actually. I feel a bit more interactive. I think sharing the screen and stuff looks good. I like it. Even for shipments of stock. Nice. Yeah, mate. Sounds like you're going for a money winner, absolute money maker there, mate. Absolutely. Sounds like it's a good one. Take advantage of that while you can. 100%. Absolutely sick. All I can say is if that happened in the UK, I mean, let me just look. Let me just give you last month. For example, the fees I paid were £19,500. So if there was 90% off, I basically get back like, I don't know, 16 grand or something back, or something, or 17 grand, 18, 18, something grand anyway, basically. It's called 17 grand, basically. So imagine going from like 19,500 to about 2,500 in or even less, actually, like 2,000 in fees. Be crazy. So yeah. Yeah, mate, yeah. Brad's moving to Africa, mate. Yeah, you can move him with Jamil, mate. You can move him with Jamil. But yeah, so yeah, but you've got a good opportunity there, because the barrier to entry is really high, I think, with the no software and stuff like that. And then, if you've got some money behind you, you can buy the products and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting, actually. Yeah. So I may see that, for example, there's no like, it's like, I don't know what sells well there, to be honest. Like Clinique, I guess, or something. Let's have a look at Clinique. There's a few bits in there. Yeah, I think there's an opportunity here, mate. Absolutely. 100%. Make sure you're buying from legitimate sources, though. VPN, yeah, exactly, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. How the hell are you going to get the stock there, though? That's the question. How are you going to get... Can I log in, actually? Let me log in. Can I use my actual... I have to check. Where's my Amazon details? I won't do it now, but yeah. I'll have to look afterwards, see if I can actually log in. Where's my Amazon UK details? I've got so many Amazon accounts, it's ridiculous. Where are my details here? Here we go. Can I actually log in? Is this where I found out you've just created a site and is it real? hope it's real. Oh dear. Let me log in with this one quickly. See if it's, I can log in. Okay, cool. So my UK account does actually work. He legit tried to log in. See, yeah, I am. Yeah, I just logged in. You can actually log in and see. So yeah, interesting, eh? So no, there's so many regions you can do. But yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? So is it an option on Seller Central? Hang on. Let's have a look in Seller Central. If we go to this is something I can't show, unfortunately. Let's go to where is it? It's fulfillment by Amazon. And then it's, you got listing across Europe. What is an option in terms of the countries? Let's have a look. See all. So we've got Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, Poland. I mean, Saudi Arabia's on there now, but yeah, Africa's not. So interesting anyway. So yeah, interesting stuff. Go and search products, mate, and see if they're profitable. That's all I can say. Go out and find products and see if they're profitable. That's all I can say. Start by looking for sales and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd literally start diving in. Anything Are you an expert? Do you know anything about perfumes, aftershaves? I'd start out there basically. If you're a skateboarder or something, look at that. If I don't know, just like start looking at health and beauty stuff. I'd say, and start going from there. Electronics, that kind of stuff. See what's available. To be honest, mate, I've never been in that option where you potentially got an option where loads of stuff are profitable. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do the work for you, mate, but yeah, you can have a look and see basically. But yeah, I'd start looking. I don't know what's the biggest competitor on in Africa for buying stuff. Go on there first. Don't know what it is, and then see if there's any arbitrage opportunities between that and Amazon. With the 90% off fees, see if there's a profit there to be made. That's probably a good place to start, to be honest. But yeah, awesome, guys. Cool. I think we'll wrap it up there. I've definitely lost a lot of viewers. Massively appreciate you all coming on. Had some good questions actually, which has been awesome. We actually got to do some interactive stuff, a few VAT calculations here and there and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's been good, mate. It's been good. Anyway, awesome. I massively appreciate everyone coming on. Anyone who's watched this after the fact, I also massively appreciate you watching. I know some of you guys watch in the car and when you're prepping and stuff. It's awesome to hear that, to be fair. So, but yeah, there's loads more to watch, loads more lives to watch, and I'll be back again on Monday at 8 p.m. I really do enjoy doing these. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Save your questions now for Monday, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.